Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Good evening and welcome back to Apex Racing TV. I'm your host Matthew Duffin, joined in the commentary box Aaron Smith as we are here for Sportscars Season 1, Round 4. And what a circuit we have for you tonight. It is the Nürburgring Nordschleife combined track. It is going to take a while to get through a singular lap here. The guys are already in the qualifying session as we speak. But what a track we have in store for the fourth round of the season tonight. It is going to be an absolute belter. You will not want to miss this one. Make sure you stay tuned for that entire action as we go through this fantastic circuit here in Germany. Aaron, good evening to yourself. What a track to take us through the fourth round of the season.
Yeah, what a track to take us through the fifth
round. No, apologies.
Season.
Yeah, I'm just looking.
Yeah, I don't blame you. You know, you weren't here last week for Aragon, which was a pretty decent race, to be honest. It was definitely a bit more strategy focused than some of the other races that we've seen so far this season. I mean, this is probably going to be even more strategy focused. It's a 75-minute race as well. It's not the usual 60-minute one that we have. It's going to be a long haul for these guys. We've got the 24 combined layout as well. In my opinion, probably the best Nordschleife layout, and especially with the Nürburgring GP track. It's got the favorable turn 1 and 2 chicane, which I think is much better than the stadium section. And it's also got the last chicane on the GP circuit. It's the 24-hour, straight on, basically. It's not the stupid, really slow chicane that makes overtaking practically impossible. So this is a good layout, pretty fun. And then, of course, you move on to the Nordschleife, which I don't really think needs any introduction, to be honest. Everyone's driven it. Everyone knows it. Like to think so. And it's going to be an intense day of racing. We'll probably see a lot of mistakes. It wouldn't surprise me if we had about half the grid finishing, to be honest. But it's going to be nice and strategy focused today. Long race for these guys, but they've got qualifying to focus on before that.
Indeed, as you can see, the GT4 is currently out there in qualifying. We can now take a look at the championship standings so far for GT4 Pro and Am and the TCR Pro and Am cars as well. After round 4 at Aragon, as Aaron said there, GT4 Pro then will be on screen in a moment. There it is. Lucas Tellman, after another win last time out at Aragon, he is really starting to find his feet this season. Pulls a bit more of a gap over Carter Lunde with Pascal Sticks in third. Luca Nadeo is P4. Lewis Ward in 5th place. Mike Plausch P6. Francois Strat is in 7th place. Luca Philippe with Desi and Brown rounding out the top 10 in GT4 Pro. And Tellman here winning another race last week, Aaron. Really impressive for him to make him put a stamp on this championship.
Yeah, we were talking about it last week. It was kind of do or die for Lundy, as we've only got 3 rounds, including this one, to go in this championship. We were talking, it's a short championship. Someone who's probably feeling a little bit more comfortable is Dominic Engel. It wasn't his best round last time out, unfortunately, but still managed to come home in 2nd place, which is still a good finish for him, and still has a nice chunky gap at the top, around 17 points from him to Rampazzo behind, and he's definitely looked the fastest driver in the GT4 AM category, you'd like to say, this season. But the Nordschleife kind of throws a spanner in the works. Necessarily the quickest drivers this season won't be the quickest here. They of course have a better chance, but honestly, the Nordschleife is a specialist track. You have to know every single braking point, and 8.5 minutes these guys are going around here, I think, and it's a long haul. Some of the TCRs as well going for over 9 minutes. It's an absolute age, and you have to be on it all the time at this track. And Damian Harris and Graziano going really far off in the championship compared to the rest of the TCR Pro category, and you'd have to say both of those guys are definitely going to be the ones fighting for it. You've got Tranquillin, who we've seen is really, really quick, but occasionally has just faltered behind compared to the top 3 above him. But TCR Pro looking very, very close. Only 7 points between the top 2.
It is indeed. TCR AM then is San Martin, who leads the way. Really got a comfortable gap in that AM category over Benjamin Silver. Russ Fowler, though, just behind him with Gavin Gardner in 4th place. Them guys are all over 100 points. Ian Manners, Lars Wheeler in 6th place. Fabio Viola, Andrew Dewhurst, Carlo Carli and Sammy Licuno brings out the top 10 there. Good battles up and down that TCR grid. Very close points throughout. And the team's championship then looks a little like this. This is for the GT4. The Delatraz Automotive by Majors Garage is 203 points. Core Sim Racing 173 with Scuderia Volt by P1 Sim. Rethink Core Sim Racing, and then Udisi Scuderia Esports rounding out the top 5. And in the TCR category, it looks like this. ADX Racing Esports lead the way from Firebird Sim Racing. Yeah. Aaron, third place, Hydra
Race, Geodesic Racing. It is a very quirky name, so I don't blame you at all for messing that one up, Matt. It's all good, but it's very close nonetheless.
Got to get back into the swing of things this week, as that is your championship standings, teams and drivers, and yeah, the Nordschleife needs no introduction, and it's one of them tracks, Aaron, where if you get it right, it is so rewarding. If you get it wrong, and you can make the smallest mistake, it is going to bite you.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anyone that has been practicing for the Nürburgring 24 hours will know exactly what you're talking about. It's just so utterly punishing, and pretty much the fastest cars you're going to be able to drive around here sensibly is going to be GT3s. I know a couple of times during IMSA we have had the GTPs go around here, but yeah, it doesn't really work as well. Nowhere near as well. But nonetheless, it's a very, very fun track to just fling the car around. Once you start getting, more professional, you are properly racing, it can become very, very intense. And honestly, this is probably the track where I'd say it's most physical, like as a sim racer. Obviously, that might sound silly to some people. I know to say physicality as a sim racer, you're just sitting, turning a wheel. But trust me, if you're, on a pretty decent wheel, hanging it around this track for minutes after minutes after minutes, it can get very, very tiring very, very quickly. And you're on it literally 100% all the time until you get into the Dossinger and you get about, I'd say, 30 seconds to a minute break going down that straight. That's the only time you can rest around here.
Just noticing on the timing screen as well, by the way, no car to Lundy today, so a real chance for Telman here to extend his championship.
Yeah, and I imagine he would probably be taking his drop round, although Telman looking a little bit further off than Nadeo and Sticks. And just want to mention, by the way, 8 thousandths of a second between Nadeo and Sticks.
On such
I was going to say, like, on a normal track, that's insane. Round here, that is even more insane. That is incredible between those two. And, well, they're 2.5 seconds ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
I think Tailman will be able to finish this lap, but, I mean, that is just wow from the top two.
That is phenomenal, especially when you look at the TCR Pro category there, half a second separating Harris and Graziano. You look at 6/10, should I say, you think, oh, that's pretty impressive for 6/10 of a second. Whereas with Sticks and Nadeo, like you say, that is immense, the fact that them two are 8 thousandths of a second between each other. And let's not forget, that's over 8 minutes and 41 seconds. They're separated by 8 thousandths. So fair play to them. We are going to be in for a cracking rest of the second carousel goes Damien Harris in his Hyundai, and it is a Hyundai 123 at the moment for TCR Pro. The Hyundai 123 and TCR AM, so it's the Hyundai the better car to be in around this Nordschleife circuit. Nadeo in the Mercedes from Pascal Sticks, Telman in the BMW, and then it is Grossman from Dominic Engel and Lars Frieske in the Porsche, as Pascal Sticks now goes provisional pole position by 33 thousandths of a second. Desi moves himself up into P3. Now he's been beaten by Sabula in his BMW, and now all of a sudden the top three separated by 1.7 seconds, but Pascal Sticks, Aaron, was 8 thousandths behind, is now 300ths in front. That's a good qualifying lap from Pascal Sticks.
Yeah, they both improved by a lot on that lap. I think they both improved by about 7.5 tenths. But Nadeo was just that tiny bit behind. And like you said, Sticks on the lap before was a tiny bit behind. And this time it's Nadeo who's just lacking a little bit. Here comes Damien Harris on what will be his final lap in that Hyundai this qualifying session. He's already on provisional pole and goes 4 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. And then Graziano goes onto pole position by 13 thousandths of a second. I'm genuinely shocked how close it is between some of these guys. And then you have huge gaps to the rest of the field. But yeah, I mean, in both pro categories, I don't think people really understand how actually ridiculous that is.
That is crazy, and if that's the pace they've got for the race, it's going to be very interesting at the front of TCR Pro and GT4 Pro. Sam Martin moves himself. Has he just dropped down to P4? Franklin moves up to P3 in TCR Pro. Kovacs now goes into P4. So that knocks Sam Martin down another spot as he's on his final lap. I don't think he's going to get to the end of this lap, is he?
No.
So he's not going to improve on a P5, your championship leader. Watt now moves into P3 as that is the end of qualifying. So Pascal Six, the pole sitter in GT4 Pro. It is Grossman in GT4 and Matteo Graziano in TCR Pro and Lars Wieler in TCR Am. What a day. What a qualifying session. That is 33 thousandths of a second and 13 thousandths of a second. Over 8 and 9 minutes. That's just absolutely bonkers. And I think that's probably one of the things we're going to see throughout the evening is close racing around this circuit. We can take a look then at the grid order for tonight's race as the drivers will be preparing to get ready for that race. It is Pascal Six from Luca Nadeo. Ronald Grossman, fair play to the GT4 Am driver in P3 on the grid overall, as well as the outright leader with GT4 Am. Sabula P4 with Strat alongside Desi. Tellman with Dominic Engel, Plausch and then Friske on P10. Rowan Eaton's 11th place with Luca Philipp P12. P13 then René Grob from Maximin Dubas in 14th place. Adam Brown is 15th with Raphael in 16th place. Jacopo Rampazou is in 17th. Herpo is alongside him. And then it's the leaders in the TCR category. Matteo Graziano is 19th with Damien Harris in 20th. 21st is Lars Wieler, the leader in TCR Am alongside Andy Tranquilline. Then it is Bonner Corsi alongside Gavin Gardner. Best livery on the grid, stand by that one. After that, it is Reese-Watt from Benjamin De Silva. Martin Kovacs with Alvaro San Martin. Russ Fowler, and then it's Riviera alongside him. Carlo Corley with Fabio Viola. Ian Manners, Kumo, Dewhurst, and Gilmore on the rear.
Yeah, relatively short grid compared to what we've seen so far this season. I can't say I'm surprised, to be honest. Some people definitely thinking, I don't really fancy going around the Nordschleife, if I'm going to be completely honest. And they've got a relatively short formation lap before we actually do get going. But like I said during the qualifying session, you know, the drivers that we've seen on top so far this season aren't necessarily going to be on top again today. There are a couple drivers in there like Graziano, who, you know, we are used to seeing at the top of the timing sheets in their respective categories, but the likes of Styx, Nadeo, Strat, Sabula, Grossman, Lars Wheel as well, you know, we haven't really seen them fighting for the lead, and all of a sudden they've just come out of nowhere.
And really made their mark on one of the most famous circuits in the world, and why not make a statement? And if I'm correct, isn't it the Nordschleife 24? Is that this weekend?
I think so.
And after, so drivers might be preparing for that one. I believe it is on the 2 weekends, and I'm down at the Apex studio when it is on. I'm sure it's this weekend, if I remember rightly.
I am.
Maybe not wanting to race it twice this week, or maybe preparing to drive the 24-hour race. And as we are coming to the start line, then on the formation lap,
it is this weekend. Yes, you are correct.
I only know that because
I'm
at the Apex studio this weekend for a Racing Unleashed event, and I remember the last time I was there 2 weeks ago, them saying that it was then the Nürburgring 24. Hopefully that's a bit better, just been told that I'm a little low, so hopefully that's all good there. Just to move the position of the microphone. Right, the driver's coming towards the... in fact, they're away till the start line, aren't they, at the moment? They've got a bit of time to go here.
Yeah, I was going to say, they are a fair way away yet. We've still got a couple corners.
When you thought an hour and a half racing wasn't long enough, let's just add a long formation lap into the mix.
Yeah,
good for tyres temperature and brake temperature to get good.
Yeah, definitely. And, well, Pascal Six is definitely going to be waiting for that safety car to come in, and it should be going green anytime soon now.
He does it. Safety car pulls into the pits. And it will be Pascal Six to take us away when it goes green here at the start of this race. An hour and a half tonight for these drivers. So they've got it all to do as they've already gone. And Pascal Six has dropped the hammer already as they come down towards turn 1. It is green and go here for round 5 of the season. And Six already into turn 1. Look at them all funnel through as it tightens up. Like you said, Aaron, no stadium section straight into turn 2. And you cut that area out, which is a much better layout of the Nürburgring, if you ask me, down in towards what would be the middle part of the lap, or coming into the middle part of the lap here. It is Styx who's got a huge lead out front. He's really done a good job, but Nadeo already putting Cebula under some pressure, and the TCR cars all look like they've got through relatively cleanly, and it's Harris and Graziano that have pulled away from the pack already at the start of this race. Relatively clean on the Nürburgring circuit. Let's see what happens when we hit the Nordschleife.
Yeah, once we hit the Nordschleife, it's going to be a completely different ball game. And like you said, it's been a relatively clean start so far. A couple gaps already brewing up as well. I think some people kind of misjudged when the green light actually went out. And like you mentioned, Styx has got an absolutely amazing start. Grossman was managed to get past Nadeo off the start. Nadeo, this entire first part of the GP layout has he's gone for a spin. That's Nadeo who's gone out. He's been pushing. I was just about to say... He was just about to say that he's been trying to get back past Grossman after losing that place, and well, he's just been pushing it a little bit too much on this opening lap. Maybe just those tyres are still too cold. Let's have a quick look at what actually happened. He tucked in behind Grossman, and then the car it was like in slow motion. It's just one of those super slow spins, and you got to feel so bad for the Frenchman. He's down all the way at the back of the GT4 field now.
He is indeed, and like you say, your heart is in your mouth when you have that moment. So it looked like Telman maybe tapped the rear of him on the normal screen as we pan to it, but on the replay, no, he's just dropped the rear all on his own. So Telman now moving up into P3, your championship leader at the moment, and look at them fly through this first opening part of the Nordschleife. They are really attacking this track straight away. An hour and 15 in this race, not an hour and a half, apologies. And you think, buy your time, don't make any mistakes early on. No, they are flat out full attack from lap 1. As they attack the early parts of the Nordschleife, and Damien Harris getting it all out of shape, and he's drifting around and somehow only just glances the barrier there. He's nearly held onto it, but just glances the barrier, and is now side by side with Ada Bonacorsi. But a huge moment for him there, Aaron, and he nearly did so well.
Yeah, I genuinely thought for a minute he was managed to keep that in. You could just see a slight bump and then overcorrects it, getting full lock all the way to the right, nearly saves it, but then smacks into the wall. And I don't think damage will be too bad for him, but it might have knocked his suspension a little bit out of kilt. Definitely given himself some bodywork damage, and definitely given himself a bit of a challenge. There's another car bouncing over the curves into the wall, and that is Dubar, I think, who's gone for a spin. It wasn't Dubar, actually. That was...
I believe it was
one of
Luke
the...
Phillip.
I'm not quite sure who that was. Yeah, it was Luca Phillip. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's out. Adam Brown is also out as well. So what has happened to Adam Brown? I believe we lost Rampazoo from this race on the time screen. So he's dropped backwards. That's one driver. Not having the best of it. So let's see, side by side with, not sure who that's with, coming down the start straight. Sorry, down.
They both got wide.
Very wide onto the grass. And you know what it's like when you took, oh wow, bouncing all over the grass there as it gets so bumpy on this Nordschleife circuit, and you can't stop it when the car is just bouncing.
Yeah, no, it's practically impossible from that point. And I don't know who that was who was following him behind, who also went wide but managed to just about get it back onto the tarmac and keep it in a straight line. We're going to have a look at it just one more time, and I'm surprised, actually, he seems to have gotten away without too much damage. Here is the other driver that he was with, and they were going side by side. It's a difficult spot. Luca Phillip just tries to take too much speed into the corner, and the driver behind you can see there manages to get back on safely, but Luca Phillip, unfortunately, just goes into the wall, and again, like I said, doesn't seem to be too bad damage-wise, and I think he should be able to continue relatively fine. And Nadeo also making some progress. He's made up a place. He's up to 7th in the GT4 Pro. Tailman as well has had a pretty decent start as well. Grossman as well, shout out to him. He's in 2nd place overall. That's just absolutely incredible start for him in the GT4 AMS. And this is what I mean. The Nordschleife just throws random people who just are quick around here. And Grossman seems to be one of those drivers.
He does indeed. Going back to that Luca Phillip, the way he bounced over the curb and on the grass. Look, you see how many times you see them in motor racing, real life or sim racing, where they're out of control, come across the circuit and clatter another car. Everybody's done well to avoid hitting him there. He was coming into that corner, so well done by everybody else. But you're right, Pascal Sticks, not seeing him up the front end of the grid. Apart from it, Imola, he looked quite sharp there. He's got a 2.9 second lead over Strat, so he's looking pretty handy at the moment. And like you say, Grossman is actually second place on the road at the moment. Here is Tailman on the back of Francois Strat. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do coming into the carousel for the first time. And let's not forget, folks, this is still lap 1. So a long way to go in this lap and in this race. You think an hour and 15, or there'll be a few laps tonight? Nope, this is the Nordschleife. There's only going to be a handful in this one as they come through. Tellman, the other thing to mention as well, Aaron, is overtaking is going to be so difficult because it's not the widest of circuits. You know, with all the corners coming up very quick, makes that circuit a little bit tighter than you'd like. The real possible opportunity is onto the back straight or maybe on the GP circuit.
Yeah, you're pretty much spot on there. I don't think we'll see any overtaking on the Nordschleife layout unless someone makes a mistake or someone is going incredibly slowly. It's just going to be following other cars and just trying to find your way around, because again, the Nordschleife is just about staying alive. It's not necessarily about, you know, finishing as, you know, doing quick laps. It's just survival. If you can get into a decent place, just keep the car on the road, you'll probably end up finishing fairly well. We've already seen a couple people make some mistakes already, even top drivers like Nadeo, like Damien Harris as well. You know, it is easy around here to make one tiny mistake. And Damien Harris as well, it's actually towed, and I think he might have left the session as well. He's already had enough. So this will probably be his drop round this season. And looks like TCR Pro, you know, we've not got that many people in the category today, only 4 drivers, and looks like it's gonna be a bit of a dull one in that category.
Yeah, which is a shame because TCR Pro has provided us with some great racing all season. But yeah, that's a shame for Damien Harris. Obviously had that drift into the wall earlier. Here is Plausch in P5. He's got a bit of work to do. I believe that is Desi just behind him then, the Hungarian driver in his Mercedes. As they come up and over the crest here, straight back downhill, you're constantly working. And like you said in qualifying, it's one of the most demanding circuits as a driver. But you're constantly at the wheel having to do something. The bumps and everything under braking is just going to really challenge you tonight. And it is that game of you're arguably fighting yourself, Aaron, over the other competitors on the Nordschleife, especially because you do not want to put a foot wrong. As here comes Desi to pull out side by side with that of Plausch. Looks like he's going to try and get his Mercedes in front, possibly that good straight line speed from the Mercedes-Benz GT4 then that has got him alongside and past Plausch. Plausch down to 6th place, but it isn't all doom and gloom for the Porsche driver. He knows he can make this time back up. Coming through the next couple of corners on the circuit into the GP section. There you go. Look at how bumpy it is through the final part of this lap. And you're almost fighting yourself, Aaron, to not make them mistakes. As you said, it's easy to lose the car on your own and make them errors on your own, as we saw Damien Harris do. This is Dominic Engel, who is 2nd place in GT4 RAM, but 7.6 seconds off of Grossman, who is flying. I believe he's 2nd overall on the track at the moment. So 2nd in category, and after 1 lap he's already 7 seconds behind. That is pretty much typical Nordschleife.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, I don't think Engel will be too disappointed if he gets 2nd. It still will give him a nice healthy lead out in front. And of course Grossman was leading in Zandvoort before he made a mistake on, I think it was like the 2nd to last lap, or it was the last lap, and ended up losing the race win from that point. And while the McLaren seems to have been a bit of a handful so far this season, it definitely seems to be Porsches, BMWs and Mercedes seem to be the main way to go. And Strat and Tailman, 2 teammates of course, sitting in 2nd and 3rd at the moment, will be good for their championship hopes, as they've been working well as a team. I don't think there will be any team orders. I think Strat is putting in some decent lap times at the moment, and actually in qualifying was ahead of Tailman, so he'll probably sit comfortably in 2nd place, but would probably rather get past Grossman, who is just a couple seconds in front of him at the moment. But Styx is looking rather comfortable out in front at the moment, 2 seconds quicker than anyone else on that last lap. And yeah, you'd definitely say as long as he just keeps it on the road, sets some good laps, he's definitely going to be the favourite.
Definitely going to be the favourite. Tellman not having the outright pace now, which is strange to see. Him and Lunde have been absolutely fantastic all season. But again, this is all about survival more than fast lap time. Tellman, with not having Lunde, I know obviously Lunde's going to have that as his drop round, but for Tellman, it's more points that he needs to score. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he can do, and especially if drivers are competing this weekend in the 24-hour Nürburgring. It's going to be fascinating. Even though it's wrong car, it's still that bit of track time for them and getting comfortable on a circuit to see what they can do in the race. So gaps forming everywhere. Closest battle on the circuit in terms of a category lead is added TCRM, Vila and De Silva. 4/10 separating them two, though barely anything as they are trying to fight for the lead of TCRM. They're separated by 3/10 of a second. This is Tellman, who is third place, right hot on the heels of Francois Strat. 4 second place in category, 4th place on the road. So Grossman having a fantastic drive this evening. And who thought, that the North Side wasn't tricky enough? Let's do it in the dark.
Well, yeah, it will, like you said, it will be good preparation for this weekend to get some laps in this car. And I think some drivers might choose to do it in the GT4s. I think most of us would probably do it in the GT3s, but you can do it in the slower cars. I think it's the GT3s, the Porsche Cup. I know the Mazda's in there for whatever reason. It has been for a couple of years, and then I think it is the GT4s as well. Sadly, I don't think the TCRs are involved. I will have a quick look just to make sure that I'm not making myself look like a numpty. No, it is. So we got, the Porsche Cup, GT3s, GT4s, and no, they are using the TCRs and the Toyota 86. Interesting choice, must be said, but yeah, they've gotten rid of my boy the Mazda.
Because why not have so many different cars on the grid? Eh? Fantastic. So really for these drivers tonight, it could be huge preparation going into the weekend.
Yeah, I don't know how many people would be doing it in the GT4s. It tends to be mainly dominated by the Porsche Cups and the GT3 cars. As this is a bit of a spicy one. This is that was an Adeo getting past one of the Porsches. I think that was one of the AM guys who was making his way past him. You're definitely saying Adeo still has a decent chance. Again, like you said, it is a long race, this, so he's got a long time to try and make up the difference between himself and the drivers in front. And, well, if all goes well for the Frenchman, I would say he's still possibly on for maybe a class podium.
Yeah, potentially. At the moment, it's all going to depend, and obviously that pit strategy is going to be the key one to keep our eyes on when the drivers come in, what the drivers decide to change, and how long they are stationary for. But like you say, it's going to be a fascinating battle. Because unlike the other races we've done this season so far, Aaron, this one is so different. It's not like a normal race at all because of it being about survival. So that hour and 15, you talk about the strategy in the pit lane, you talk about the drivers trying to not make their own mistakes. Anything could unravel come the end, and we could end up having a 6-7 car battle for the lead going on to the last lap. It's just that kind of a circuit that will spring up anything.
Yeah, you're pretty much spot on there. If there is one track that's going to just throw something completely random at you, it will be this. And, well, we're kind of just waiting for something just completely insane to happen. Something to mention as well, on this track, it's probably the one you want to avoid towing the most, which unfortunately gives the drivers a bit of a bad incentive. If they're in the middle of the track, they could possibly try and dangerously rejoin. But I mean, if you're at the worst spot, like into turn 1 of the GP layout around here, the tow, I think, is around 12 to 15 minutes. And, well, that's nearly 2 laps. And yeah, you really do not want to be towing around here. And you may as well just suffer with the damage and try and make it back to the pit lane. This is De Silva following Whaley for the lead of the race. And interestingly enough, they're both using the old Hyundai as well, which usually so far this season, we've seen the newer Hyundai definitely be the more favourable car out of the two. But at the moment, these two in the AM category are leading with the old cars, so maybe they know something that we don't. Although the guys in the pro category are using the newer car, so yeah, don't know what's going on there, but fair enough. As San Martin, who we're used to seeing run off into the distance in TCR AM, has just been dropping back a little bit, and he's around 5 seconds off the lead at the moment. It looks like it's going to be between Lucas and De Silva for the battle and the lead of TCR AM at the moment, and I don't know if that will dent his championship too much, but still.
Yeah, like you say, still. But De Silva this season has always seemed to come back late on in the race, so we'll see what his plan is. It might not be to push too hard too early in the race. 16 minutes gone, and I think we've only had, what is this, lap 3? 2, yeah, lap 2. Jeez. Long night for the drivers, long night for us. We're almost on lap 3, but here's Tranquil in then. 3rd place in TCR Pro, and behind San Martin, so 6th place in TCR overall. Riviera is now into the pit lane, so I imagine he's returned to the pit lane from the circuit. So we're down to 3 TCR Pro runners. So that is an absolute shame. TCR Pro has been fantastic all season long. We've got a bit of a replay now. Is this what happened to Riviera then? So he's coming up the hill, clips the curb, and you just saw it there mid-corner.
Oh dear.
On the curb, it unsettles it. That is a huge
he
hit.
blew the engine. Oh no.
Oh dear. So how long, Aaron, will that take to repair, if at all?
Forever. We will not see him. Well, actually, no, they have the fast repairs, so I think he'll be fine. But under a normal circumstance, if this was the 24 hours of the Nordschleife, yeah, you'd not see him for... Yeah, pretty much. I think the engine repair takes like an hour, something like that. And well, in real life, if your engine's gone, it's gone. So if anything, iRacing's being generous. So yeah, unfortunate for him. And yeah, Riviera, I suspect we will not be seeing for a long, long time, if at all. So pretty much in TCR Pro, like I said before, if you finish, you're going to get a podium. So just keep it cool and you'll get a good result.
Yeah, hopefully so. But hey, if he gets back out on track, anything can happen. We'll keep our eyes on that. Benjamin De Silva really pushing at the back of the old Hyundai, just in front of him down the straight, giving that slipstream away, and pulls out now to have a look for the lead in TCR AM. These two have been pretty close to each other most of the evening so far, and they've really been going at it. And now De Silva takes a hold of the lead, but look, pretty much the minute he's pulled out that slipstream, he's not got that as much of advantage over the Hyundai, and now Vila is coming back at him then, still pretty much side by side, now decides to tuck him behind as they've got the corners coming up towards the back part of the Nordschleife section of the circuit. And, yeah, good move there from De Silva. He's been biding his time and been sat on the back of Vila for a little bit.
Yeah, and I was surprised that Vila didn't choose to fight that one, but I guess, we have been mentioning it's a long race and, survival is key. So second place is still pretty good for him, and maybe he thinks that De Silva is not worth fighting at this point anyway. Here's Samuli Kumo, who Josh Wilkie, our production man, just saw him and started jumping with joy, as he's one of the other production men here at Apex Racing TV, but just choosing to run all by himself this time out. And you can see there at the top of your timing screens, Tailman has got past Strat, and I suspect that was a team switch, to be honest, as it looks like Strat has just dropped back a little bit, and hopefully he can stay ahead of Sabula. I imagine that's the plan between those two, and he has done it just before they headed onto the Nordschleife, and I believe this was into the chicane. Now maybe Strat might have made a mistake. We're gonna have a look here. Seems to be fine. And then yeah, Strat seems to just lift off, and fairly smart there between those two, is it? Just about let Strat stay ahead of Sabula as well. And yeah, good stuff from those two. You'll probably see Tailman just drop the two behind him, as he's definitely quicker at this point. We've seen him not be amazing during qualifying, but in the race he definitely has the pace to match up to the leaders. But 5 seconds to Styx, that's a long old gap to make up.
Yeah, you say that. Probably it is doable though within that one lap, depending on how Sticks treats the circuit. Now we go back down to San Martin, who is on the back here. Is that Tranquillin who's got past San Martin? I believe he was behind him a moment ago. So third place in TCR Pros, got past third place in TCR Amps, had his fifth place on the road for Tranquillin. Now San Martin sixth place on the road in the TCR category. We've lost Harris. Riviera's in the pits for a real small turnout for the TCR boys tonight, which is a shame because TCR Pro, has been fantastic to watch all season. We've seen some great fights between all of the drivers.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame, but I guess kind of expected at the Nordschleife. You know, like we've mentioned, some people were probably busy preparing for the Nürburgring 24 this weekend. And Riviera is coming back out, but he is over 2.5 minutes behind the rest of the field. So unless something else happens to the three guys in front of him, he probably will stay in fourth for the remainder of this race. But it is still decent points for Riviera, as, you know, there is only 5 people in the entire TCR Pro field, which begs the question that, you know, Damien Harris probably should have just carried on. I don't know if he had an additional incident that meant he had to tow back to the pit lane. I don't think so. I think he just kind of gave up in the end, which is unfortunate for a man who's been trying to fight the championship against Graziano this season, and the Italian will be very, very thankful and will just increase his gap at the front now.
Will indeed, and Bonacorsi's not got anything in the locker, it doesn't look like today, to gain on the back of him. 6.8 seconds separate them two there, and already you look at that gap between Tellman and Strat. A couple of tenths in it, half a second already. Here's Bonacorsi then in P2 in TCR Pro. Like we said, 6.9 behind Graziano, but he's also well clear of Tranquillin. He's got De Silva and Vila actually closer to him, because they are running third and fourth in the TCR category. And they're still only separated by half a second, is De Silva, the leader of TCR Ram. So he's now taken the lead, and Vila's now been able to stay in that slipstream and sort of stick with the back of the Hyundai. He's not been dropped by De Silva or anything. So they're having a good little fight. Just thought he was running a bit close to that barrier. There was Bonacorsi, but I don't really race the Nordschleife much, so what do I know? These guys all know a lot more than me on which lines to take through here. One thing I do know, though, is some of these curbs are lethal around this circuit, and we saw with Riviera, got on the curb, mid-corner, sort of bounced off it, and that slingshotted him really into the wall. There's a few curbs around this circuit, Aaron, that you just cannot touch, because it is just going to ruin that race.
Yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag. There are some curbs around this track which you practically have to use if you're wanting to get a quick lap time. And then, yeah, there are curbs like these that you're seeing on your screen now, the outside ones, where realistically you cannot use them. I think something's happened to Strat. He's tumbling down the order, and there he is. We can just see him off to the left of your screen. Something happened going through the carousel to Strat, and I don't know if maybe Sabula might have hit him on the way around. We're going to take a look, and you can see his teammate in front of him. Keep an eye on the BMW behind Strat. Is he just going to... there was contact, but that's an awkward one. Strat kind of got very, very wide on the carousel, and Sabula trying to just take the quickest line possible, just hit the back of him. That was very, very awkward. And I know the car behind is usually responsible, but, you know, as a racing driver, I can really sympathise with Sabula on that one.
Nadeo really attacking the curbs through that last couple of corners there on the back of Plausch. So the Mercedes driver really wanted to get a shift on here. In fact, he's going to pull out now and have a look. And we said we're not going to see much overtakes on the Nordschleife today. Well, there's one. And what you've got to rely on is the other driver that you're fighting with to be respectful. That was very respectful there from... Oh, it's Dominic Engel, apologies, who was led him through. So maybe Engel being a little bit more respectful, knowing that he's not my fight in this race, because it's points in class, not overall.
Yeah, and very smart from Engel. Like I said, he's the championship leader in GT4 AM, and second place won't be anything to sniff at, as he gets very close to Nadeo. As there's a bit of flashing going on. I'm not quite sure what happened to Nadeo there. I don't know if he got a slowdown or what, but Nadeo's going awfully slowly. at this current time. And, well, Dominic Engel has chosen to re-overtake Nadeo. That's Strat, I believe, who's going back through. What on earth has happened to Nadeo? I don't know if he's gotten a slowdown or something, but, I mean, slowdowns are very hard to come by on the Nordschleife, so he's gotten rather unlucky for that. I didn't see him go off, and there's Strat getting very out of shape.
Is that
through the
rear end damage, Aaron? I wonder, because we saw him get clipped by Cebula and then tap the barrier on the rear end. So I wonder maybe just that rear end feeling a little light, but coming down the back straight. Like you say though, Nadeo awfully slow through that section of corners. Seemed to give Engel the hurry up, got past him, and then just fell back.
Yeah, I've no idea what happened to Nadeo there, but now Strat and Nadeo go side by side as they're getting the slipstream on Dominic Engel as well, who's definitely going to have to be a bit cautious heading into these final few corners. And Nadeo is probably going to try and look to get back past Engel. And I don't think Engel will want to fight this one again, but, you know, Engel in all of that, I think he lost about 4 seconds on Grossman ahead, which is very frustrating as a driver and, you know, could cost him something if Grossman makes a mistake. You know, it's really important to us drivers that, you know, we all just work together, especially in a long race like this, that, you know, we don't do anything stupid. And, you know, if there was a slowdown for Nadeo, you'd rather hope that he would just pull over to one side and slow off the slowdown and let everyone else go. But I genuinely don't know, because I didn't see him go off. I don't really know where the slowdowns are on this track, if any, unless you blatantly cut the track, then of course. But yeah, it's just a very strange one there, to be honest. And yeah, it's just lost words.
San Martin sticking to the back of Tranquillin, then the TCR AM driver and the TCR Pro driver. I mean, I know he's in a Honda, but he doesn't need to cut the grass, does he? It's Tranquillin running all over it there, and it was a little strange out there, you know, defending the driver in the category below you. Either way, San Martin has got a beautiful slipstream here down this back straight on the Nordschleife. A couple of corners left, and he's like you say, updrafting him down towards this last section. He's going to stay behind him though. Braking's will be coming up just through this left-hand kink. Just a dab on the brakes, AC from Tranquillin. San Martin a little more on the brakes, maybe to just get that separation from Tranquillin through this next section of corners, in case Tranquillin was to have a bit of a moment. And now he's right back on him onto the Nürburgring section of the track. And good outing from some of the AM drivers today, in both GT4 and in TCR, because they're really mixing it with the Pro Boys.
Yeah, which is really surprising. I don't think San Martin will look to overtake Tranquillin. He's just trying to give him the hurry up a little bit, just, you know, get a move on. Come on, mate. You know, you're a category above me, and we're fighting technically for the same position, you know, third and third. So they're very, very awkward between those two. But I think Tranquillin probably will, you know, have realised, okay, maybe I do need to pick it up a little bit. He's 10 seconds behind Bonacorsi. Tranquillin's, you know, he showed some incredible pace at the likes of Zandvoort, where he came from literally last and nearly won in TCR Pro. And well, today he's kind of doing the opposite. He's you know, gone from the front of the field, and if there were more TCR Pros, he'd probably be, you know, just shooting towards the midfield right now. But luckily, he's pretty much last. You know, Riviera's 2 minutes behind him, so Tranquillin can kind of do whatever he wants at the moment. Just, you know, drive around the Nordschleife for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah, and maybe just hope for a mistake from one of the two in front. He's got no trouble from behind. Gavin Gardner, P4 in class at the moment. He's only a couple of seconds behind San Martin. So, like you say, San Martin will be wanting Tranquillin to have that hurry up, because the more he gets held a little bit, Gavin Gardner's going to really start to put the pressure on San Martin in his Audi, which is fantastic to see. Tellman, since getting past Styx, has actually been caught up by Cebula, and has made getting past Strat, apologies. He's been caught by Cebula, but has not gained on Pascal Styx at all. Styx has checked out in this race.
Yeah, I'm genuinely shocked by the pace of Pascal Styx this race, and who knows what this will do for the final, you know, 2 rounds after this race. If he can keep it like this until the end, you know, can it give him a bit of a push until the end, and we might see him fighting for those wins up at the front of the field a little bit more often than we have so far this season. But like I said, some drivers are just absolute gods around this track. They could be completely useless everywhere else, but for some reason people just turn up to this track. And then some people are the opposite. Some people are absolutely just, Michael Schumacher everywhere else, and then they come here and Mahavir Raghunathan probably is the best way I can describe
it. It's Ronald Grossman at the moment, currently your GT4 AM leader. We are half an hour into this race, and we are on lap 4.
Hold on, I think it is lap 4. Yeah, lap 4. Lap 4. Yeah.
There we go. There we go. So nearly halfway through this race, and we're 4 laps in.
God, we're so professional.
Handful of laps that we are. It's incredible. Handful of laps tonight for these drivers. Yeah. I suppose this track, though, with it being unlike any other circuit, Aaron, it's an honour to drive around this track, as here we see Sabula now attacking the back of Tailman on the Nordschleife area of the circuit. Just getting onto the grass a little bit there. Not sure who that is behind them. Is that Desi behind them?
Desi,
yeah. It's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on then. And Tailman here, not got the advantage of outright pace around this circuit. It is survival. Really clips the curb hard there. That's cost him a bit of momentum through that left-hander. And you see Sabula, who's already tapped the back of one of the green and white cars, is now looking to attack the back of Tailman as well.
Well, let's hope this time we go through the... I've forgotten the corner now. Honestly, I'm having a brain fart. This corner. I hope he doesn't hit the back of Tailman this time. But yeah, Sabula having some good pace around here. And again, it's just one of those drivers who we haven't seen too much of this season. And then all of a sudden we come to the Nordschleife and he's fighting for a podium. Same with Desi, who's been kind of on and off so far. But it's been decent so far, the Hungarian. But this time, again, fighting for up to second place. And like we mentioned a couple times, today, it's just going to be about that strategy. Fuel saving, those tyres as well. It's a long race, this. And, a lot of times these drivers might get, a bit of lapse in concentration. It can happen on occasion around here. And, sometimes if you're trying to save fuel, if you're clutching in or just trying to take it a bit easy, maybe you miss a braking point and then it's game over. You've just got to be on it 100% round here. And it really can get fatiguing once you get to the end of this 1 hour and 15-minute race.
It really can be. The driver will be glad to have a bit of a break during the pit window. Whenever the drivers are going to pull the trigger on that, though, is like we said, we're coming up to halfway through this race at the moment. This is a battle for second, third and fourth in the GT4 Pro category. At the minute, it's looking back from Lucas Tailman, your championship leader in GT4 Pro, and Sabula really gets a good run on him after some of these corners. Look at that M4 getting close to the back of Tailman's BMW and just hassling the rear end of the car. I want to stay as close as you can. I want to try and set him up through the slipstream into the next parts of the circuit.
Yeah, and this is kind of the part of the track where you've just got to be a bit careful heading through the second carousel. Now we come through the last few corners of the Nordschleife, the last few corners that actually, do matter. And this is an exit which you'd think would matter a lot, but to be honest, you can get as good as an exit as you want, and the car behind will still be in your slipstream, and you'll still have to look behind you pretty much for the next 30 seconds. And that's exactly what's happened. Tailman tried as hard as he can to get a good exit, but now he's looking in his rearview mirrors for Sabula and Desessi. As Desessi now coming onto the back, is he going to pull out? He is, and he's got a nice slipstream. He's just about creeping ahead of Tailman now. Probably ought to get a little bit closer to the Belgium driver to try and get that side draft, but now Sabula up into second place, and Tailman just struggling a little bit as he could be overtaken by the Hungarian in his Mercedes behind if he's not careful. And yeah, Tailman, one of the championship contenders, leading at the moment in that category. Yes, they're just struggling down in third, but with the way it's going at the moment, he will extend his championship lead, so can't really complain too much.
No, you can't really complain too much, and this track is all about confidence. If you've got the confidence, that's where the lap time comes from. If you don't, you are going to struggle a little bit around this track. Here is Dominic Engel then, who is 10 seconds clear of Eaton in his category. And he is now, who's that in front of him? I believe that is Strat in front of him. So Strat on a recovery drive. Nadeo was near them two. He's no longer with them. So Nadeo possibly pulled away into the distance. Here is Nicholas Herpo. 5th overall. He's got DeBass on the rear end of him as they come down to start their next lap. Interesting, different line coming out onto the Grand Prix circuit there for DeBass in the background, but Herpo crosses the line to start his next lap time. Where is he? He's nearly 20 seconds off of P4, so he's got a big gap to pull back in this race. Benjamin Da Silva, though, leader in TCRM, who's got Vila just behind him, and I'm not sure who that is behind Vila. That is possibly, is that Tranquillin? I wouldn't have thought so, no.
No, it's not, and yeah, Tranquillin is, I'm pretty sure, the only Honda in this race, so very, very easy to tell him apart, and that's Da Silva going round the outside. That was a risky overtake, admittedly. That was on Bonacorsi, who's currently sitting in second place in TCR Pro.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a risky move for Da Silva, but I guess in terms of fighting, as Bonacorsi now comes into the pits, one of the first drivers we've seen, if not the first driver we've seen actually come into the pit lane for a scheduled stop. So
Hellman's got back ahead of Sabula. So second and third in the pits from TCR Pro, but Sabula and Tellman, they've exchanged places. Desi still down in 4th place, but GT4 Pro hotting up here. And Tellman getting back in front. So battles happening. Tranquillin and Bonacorsi into... Oh, that is Tranquillin, I believe, who's missed his pit box and has had to reverse back. So already moves happening. And not a bad stop that from Bonacorsi, already out of the pits, and he's just going to get Tranquillin even more now. San Martin is being caught by Gardner as well in TCR Am. But yeah, GT4 Pro, that is Tailman ahead of Sabula now. With Desi still on the back. In fact, gapped a little bit as well. Here is a rapid Tailman, replay of Tailman's overtake. So this is coming onto the Nordschleife. He's on the curb, yeah. Just bouncing over it. And that's what we're saying, Aaron, about them curbs being dangerous, and clip the wrong ones and it's going to punish you around this circuit.
Yeah, it definitely can. It's not cost him pretty much. I mean, it cost him a position, but no damage. Maybe just a bit of a bruised ego. Just got on throttle a bit too early there and ended up on that mountain of a curb as you come through. I believe it's Shabina Schmidt's corner. I think that's Shabina Schmidt's corner. Could be the one after. Yeah, it's very difficult. I think of all the tracks I could get away with not knowing the corner names, I think I'm okay for this one. I mean, there's a lot of corners here. I don't have a photographic memory, unfortunately. Even with the track map, you know, the corner names are so tiny, and they're unfortunately written in black. And guess we're driving at night, so I cannot see them at all. They're written in a really thin font as well. Probably should have picked a better track map, but that's on me. Dominic Engel, though, in second place in GT4 Am, and he's doing all right, but yeah, 22 seconds away from the lead. I mean, Grossman kind of is acting as a pro in this race. He's been absolutely fantastic so far this race. Trying my best not to jinx him, but yeah, he's done really, really well and sitting still second place overall as Dominic Engel's trying to fight some of the GT4 pros who've had a bit of a lackluster race, like Strat, who's, you know, was fighting for the podium, but just one tiny mistake and Sabula not seeing it, and it's kind of ruined his entire race.
Yeah, it has indeed, and he's got a comeback drive. The bonus of his circuit being so long, there was one mistake from another driver and you're right back in this race. And this is where I tip my hat to Riviera. He's 3 minutes 4 off the race lead, but mistakes to the front three, and he could all of a sudden be straight back in this race. Here's Sam Martin, who's had the gap to Gardner. Sorry, Gardner's got the gap down to San Martin. So interested to see what happens through these next part of the lap. But all good for the Audi driver so far. Running on the podium. And he's the championship leader. Here is Gavin Gardner. P4 in class, 17 seconds off the race lead. And he's trying to hunt down on the back of San Martin for that podium spot in TCR AM. And as the night falls as well, just adding that extra challenge to these drivers of driving such a difficult circuit in the daylight, never mind in the nighttime sky. So yeah, going to be an interesting one to see how this develops for these drivers. But it's been a good little race so far. We've only seen a handful of mistakes. I was expecting a few more at near enough the halfway stage of this race, Aaron. We've seen very little mistakes, but when they have happened, they've been big.
Yeah, that's kind of the Nordschleife, isn't it? We've seen only a couple mistakes where drivers have gotten away with it, like we saw with Sabula, who just got a tiny bit wide, only lost a place, which, you know, in terms of a mistake round here, that's probably the best thing that can happen to you. As it's a fairly high-speed track. There's only a couple low-speed, apart from the GP layout, which has a few. The Nordschleife itself only has, I'd say, like 2 or 3 properly slow speed corners. The rest of them are medium to high speed, and especially with these cars, which don't really have too much downforce. They're basically the road cars they're based off of, with, you know, a couple of wings stuck on them and maybe a couple of splitters to make them go a couple seconds a lap faster than just a normal road car. But, you know, they're nowhere near compared to the absolute beasts of the GT3s. And even then, some people would say that they don't have that much downforce either.
Here's a man we've not seen much tonight, Pascal Sticks. And as we get to chat about him, oh no, we've got back to him. We've not seen him really since the start of the race. He's been a cut above the rest, hasn't he? How good has this man been tonight?
I mean, he's been incredible. And, you know, this is the kind of driver who, you know, has the potential to put it all together. And, you know, as long as he keeps it all together throughout the rest of this race, this will be a very, very special victory for Pascal Sticks. And, you know, these are the kind of drivers who have the potential to do something amazing going into their future. And hopefully, like I said before, he can apply it to the rest of his season. And who knows what kind of comeback we're going to see for Pascal Sticks over the next few rounds. He's got a huge gap out in front, ahead of Tailman, ahead of Grossman though. It's about 5 seconds, which just goes to show how impressive Grossman has been compared to the rest of the field as well. Those two, for me, Sticks and Grossman, have been the outstanding drivers so far today. Everyone else has just not been as good.
Look at this.
Doesn't mean we can't get some good battling though. Going 3 wide down the back straight. They're getting so close, all trying to side draft each other. There is no way this can end cleanly. Come on, guys, keep it clean. There's bumping going on.
No, there we go.
Crashed into the wall. That's Sabula, who unfortunately goes off onto the grass. And somehow he has not collided with DeSessi. All of them are now going to come into the pit lane. One, because they kind of needed to, but wow. And there's Nadeo, who's just appeared out of nowhere. And remember how awful Nadeo's start was. He's right onto the back of these guys now. Everyone coming into the pits. This is going to be their one and only stop. And they're very lucky that that only just happened. The only one I'm a little bit concerned of is Sabula. Did he get a slowdown from that? And has it just been applied in the pit lane? I'm not sure.
Well, there's only one way to find out who's going to leave the pits earliest. That's the biggest question here. Sticks has been in the pits for quite the time already. He'll be leaving in just a moment. Strat is in as well. Everybody is literally coming into the pit lane this lap for their mandatory pit stops. 33.8 for Sticks, and he's already away. And then the closest man to him is Adedesi, who's 26.7. There's another car there. There's Grossman, who's gone. That's the leader of TCR. I'm out the pits. Desi's gone. Tabula's gone. Tellman's gone as well. So they was pretty close coming into the pits. They are pretty much together as they come out the pits. And it was Sabula who had the big damage to his car.
Yeah, very, very lucky that they all have that fast repair. And maybe Sabula was just saving a little bit of fuel behind these guys over the last few laps. Went for a very, very risky move into those last few corners. And again, luckily, because they were all coming into the pits anyway, it didn't cost them too much. But, you know, it just scared them all, absolutely terrified. You know, gave us a bit of a jump scare as well. But, I mean, Sabula is now leading ahead of this little train. It means Nadeo has also caught up to the back here. You might see him catch up to these and make it a four-way fight for the podium. Sticks had a bit of a long pit stop compared to the rest of these guys, but his pit stop was better than Grossman, who didn't have an amazing stop either. But in terms of GT4 AM, Grossman did have a good pit stop, but just compared to the pros, was a bit slow from the German, but still in second overall and first leading the way as the rest of the GT4 field come into the pits. And now the start of the TCR Pros and the TCR AMs also coming into the pit lane. You've got Graziano, De Silva and Vile, who've all come into the pits. Vile and De Silva awfully close to Graziano, has to be said.
Great pace. Did notice that Gordon's got past Sam Martin before the pit stops as well, so that happened in TCR AM a few moments ago. Bonacorsi and Tranquillin pitted. It was probably a lap ago. It's been that long. So they are on a different strategy to these two. Maybe trying the undercut. Yeah. Gardner ahead of Sam Martin before the pit stop. Graziano is on his way out. Vila and De Silva on the way out. And has Vila jumped De Silva in the pits? He has, you know. So the pit stop strategy. Vila back in front of Benjamin De Silva now.
That was a bit of a shock. Actually, the more I think about it, probably less of a shock, actually, because we've seen Vila pretty much follow De Silva this entire way round, and the car in front always is going to use more fuel. We're going to get a replay of the Gardner Pass as well, which we didn't manage to see. The beautiful pink and blue liveried car of Gavin Gardner making his way past on the back straight, and yeah, pretty simple overtake there from the Brit, and he's moved himself up into third place in TCR AM, and he's been going fairly quiet but fairly well in this race.
Look how easy it is when there's only two of them. Gardner moving up into P3 in class, and one thing I do want to say though is De Silva and Vila here, how good a race are they having? They're sticking with, well, I say sticking with, they're pretty close to Graziano, the leader of TCR Pro, and are having a great battle between themselves. De Silva got past Vila earlier on in the race, and now he's got to do all that work again. Yeah, he's lost a bit of time, it looks like, on this lap, so maybe just pushing too hard out of the pit lane as his tyres have possibly cooled down a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened to De Silva. He is going fairly slow, and they came out of the pits pretty much neck and neck, and now De Silva's over 4 seconds behind Vila, which is absolutely, you know, massive, and Vila will be laughing all the way to the bank. And here is a replay of something that did happen to De Silva. I don't think it's relevant to what just happened to him, but this was an off track that he did have earlier on, and yeah, just getting a tiny bit wide through there, but managed to keep it on the track. And I'm not sure what's happened to him. He's losing a lot of time, 5 seconds. I don't know if maybe he's just not getting those tyres up to temperature. I'm not sure.
Not getting those tyres up to temperature, and the crucial thing that we have to work with in the virtual world is it a problem at his home or wherever his simulator is, his sim rig is? Because how many times do we run into technical problems, not just with broadcasters, but your equipment is what you need to get you around? Because he's lost half a second in only a handful of corners, really. So yeah, is it the tyres that aren't up to temperature? Hopefully it's not an issue with hardware at wherever he's racing, because that would be catastrophic for him. But he is still losing a lot of time to Vila. This could possibly give Vila the win in this race.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. And excuse me, 6 seconds. I mean, a minute ago it was 4, and a minute before that he was ahead. So I don't know what's happened to the Frenchman. And I don't know if he's just really struggling on fresh tyres. But yeah, but whatever's happening to him, It's not going well for him. He's just lost another like 6/10. Maybe he's gotten damaged from somewhere. We just haven't seen it. I've literally no idea. I'm just throwing ideas into the wind at this point.
Now to see what Gordon can on De Silva at the moment, because he's lost that time to Vila, although he's now started to regain that time over Vila, and that time he's coming down, or was coming down pretty quick, so maybe it was just the part of the circuit where he's at. This is Dubas having a fight with Eaton here for 5th and 6th place. He's just got past him actually right now, so that is Eaton just in front. Good sized gap between him and Dubas. Oh, wrong line. Kept it out the wall. So that is how Dubas got through there then. So all through the wrong line. That is a lovely camera angle of the headlight of the Porsche behind there. And that'll explain what maybe the drivers can only see in the rear view mirror of their cockpit, just light.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're pretty much spot on. As someone who has had the unfortunate, I have done or attempted the Nürburgring 24 before and not finished it because I'm terrible. Here goes Rowan Eaton trying to get back past Dubas, and it looks like the Frenchman's just going to let that one go. Like you say, all you can see in your rearview mirror at a time like this is literally just headlights, and if no one's behind you, your rearview mirrors are basically useless. You cannot see a thing around here, and even at tracks where you might have some side lighting, it's pretty difficult to see out your rearview mirrors anyway. You may as well just chuck them out the window and add some weight saving to the car. But Rowan Eaton's managed to get back past into 5th place, but it's still 1.5 minutes off of the lead of the race, which just kind of goes to sum up the Nordschleife, to be honest.
I believe had a crash with Russ Fowler then. So this is coming down where we saw an instant one of the Porsches earlier in the race. It comes in nice and good through there. Not an incident then. It just
given up.
Stationary and then go. Probably ordered a takeaway. I had to run and get the door, didn't he? Little cheeky afternoon kebab, I reckon, there for Russ Fowler from the United Kingdom, Great Britain.
I mean,
got a rate on Russ. Come on.
In this type of weather, I don't know if I'd want a kebab. It is boiling. Here's Fabio Viola, who is coming out of the pit lane, and from what we've heard, he's out of the race now. He's also jumped out of the pit. I don't know if he maybe messed up his fuel or forgot to tick something. I don't know, but yeah, he clearly thinks I've had enough, and maybe he had a takeaway as well at the door as well, and thought, "No, I'm too hungry. I'm gonna leave."
Russ has made me hungry here. Yeah. See that? Or Russ Fowler stopped to sign a few autographs. You never know what can happen. Russ Fowler on the timing screen's actually just greyed out on his name as well. So I wonder if he's out the race. Kebab's going cold. Don't want to reheat the kebab, do you? Want to get that done now? No. Got to get that one down you straight away. Right, where are we? This is Telman, the Belgian, with Desi still hunting him down, the Hungarian driver in his Mercedes-Benz. Nadeo, not a million miles away behind these two, and Cebula just in front as well. But it's either that or Russ Fowler and Viola. They've got to re-watch Eurovision from the weekend. That could be the...
God. Or they're going to watch the Villa-Liverpool match. Either one. But I don't... admittedly, I think Eurovision is a waste of time. But that's just me. Yeah. These drivers probably won't care, though. Eaton and Dubas going side by side again. These two are remarkably close, actually. I thought Eaton would have pulled away a little bit by now from Frenchman behind, but Dubas actually done pretty well to keep with the Swiss driver at the moment.
It was the mistake from Eaton, though, that let Dubas back through, wasn't it? So maybe it's just the odd mistake from Eaton every now and again that is allowing Eaton to come back and have a look. You just see the different line that Eaton is taking over Dubas and coming through these final few corners onto the GP circuit. Look at that. Gets a great launch down out the final corner, down the start-finish straight then. And Dubas here, he's not fully alongside as they're going to come down towards turn 1. So for Eaton, he's already defending that inside line of turn 1. And the Bass here then, because this turn 1's different as well now, because you don't do that stadium section, you can't quite tuck underneath at the exit to the corner and come back underneath for turn 2, because turn 2 pretty much comes straight up. It's not you're not doing a full hairpin and coming back on yourself, are you, at turn 1 now? It acts more as like a 90-degree right-hander.
Yeah, you have to take that corner very, very differently than you otherwise would under normal circumstances, you know. And on the normal layout, you'd kind of extend the track all the way out to the left, then pull all the way to the right for the stadium section. But, excuse me, in this layout, you pretty much have to treat turn 1 as a full-on hairpin, kind of pull all the way to the right, and then slingshot your way out of turn 2 to get the best exit and improve your lap time. Just a little bit of a tip if any of you want to practice for the Nürburgring 24, and you know, you've got a little bit of advice from me for this weekend. These guys probably don't need any advice though. They're probably a lot quicker than I would be around here. I'm pretty terrible at the Nordschleife, admittedly. It's been one of my weaknesses. Been trying to improve it over the last few years, but hey ho. Here is Sabula, still managing to hold on to second place. He's done pretty well in this race, I'd say. Again, one of the drivers who's really managed to pick himself up here at the Nordschleife, as Tailman still struggling to find a way past the Polish driver and the Hungarian as well in fourth to Sessi, trying to just, you know, bide his time, wait for these guys to make contact or just, you know, sneak his way up the inside if they lose each other time. And then Nadeo as well is hoping that all three of these guys end up fighting so he can catch up and give himself a shot at the podium. So he had the shot at the win, of course, but unfortunately robbed us of what would have been a fantastic battle for the lead between himself and Styx. But yeah, just one tiny mistake, and it's cost him pretty much his entire race.
Why do you get the feeling that these three are going to go at it again, and possibly will, more than likely will go at it again? The Deo must be sat there thinking, I know, another little incident and I'm in for a podium here.
Yeah, most definitely. And I've talked about this a couple of times. You know, when you're third in a 3-car train, it's probably the most awkward place you can be. You just have to be patient. It's pretty much all you can do. As if you try to get involved in the fight, you probably will end up crashing. As we saw earlier on, they went 3 wide, and 2 of them ended up in the wall. And luckily they were coming into the pit lane that lap anyway, so they didn't lose too much time. But yeah, it's it really can end in disaster if you're not careful, especially at a track like this where it's just not enough. There's just not enough width at the track to support 3 cars sensibly.
Yeah, potentially even 4 if Nadeo has his way, because he's really pulling a good bit of time on to the 3 in front. Excuse me. De Silva. He's kind of had that gap kept at around 6.4 seconds now, so whatever was the problem, seems to have had that sorted, because he's not really gaining on Villette, but hasn't lost anything to Gardner. So yeah, I'm wondering if it does seem now that like tyres was the problem for him getting up to temperature, maybe in that GT4 TCR category battle there. But it is that GT4 Pro battle. This is the lap times on the last lap. You see personal best here for Grossman and Herpo, as well as for Riviera, Dewhurst and De Silva, all setting personal best lap times. One of the fastest laps of the race there, Pascal Styx in GT4 Pro, Graziano TCR Pro, and Vila in TCR Am. And Benjamin De Silva's fastest lap, I don't know if we can bring that back up, but that was a little interesting now. I don't know if you saw that, and I don't know how accurate that is. He's 53 seconds fastest lap slower than Vila.
I didn't notice that. A couple other drivers, Grossman
yeah,
as well. Yeah, I don't quite know what's going on there, if I'm being honest. I think the only thing I can think of is maybe they don't count the off tracks, because I mean this is a fairly easy track to get the off tracks on, so that would make a lot more sense.
That fastest lap time, so maybe the only fastest lap time. of De Silva's is a 9-minute 59. I remember commentating on an Assetto Corsa race one time, and the only lap somebody had done at, I can't remember the circuit, their valid lap time was 23 minutes, and it was their warm-up lap time because they'd invalidated every race lap after that. So that was pretty funny to see at the end of that race. But this is still the battle for GT4 Pro in his second, third, fourth, and no, in his third, fourth, and fifth, because second place is Sabula has actually started to now pull a gap over Tellman in this race. He's managed to leave them here, and Tellman now the cork in the road, if you will.
Yeah, that is a bit surprising. Tellman's, been probably the quicker driver out of those two. They've been pretty close, actually, but you'd say Tellman's just had a little bit more speed. But this time, maybe Tellman made a mistake somewhere and just lost that little bit of time. And yeah, now he's fallen into the clutches of Desessi and Nadeo. I don't think he's quite got the slipstream. I think he's just about gotten the slipstream in front of Sabula, but it definitely will not be enough to catch back up to him by any means. We'll see how good of an exit he gets through the Dottinger, and if he can catch back up to the pole in front of him. But good, decent job by Sabula. He's now 1.5 seconds, and yeah, over the last few corners. Oh, that's Nadeo sliding, and he's gone round. That's Nadeo, his second mistake again. Actually, that's Desessi, my apologies. I just saw a red Mercedes in, force of habit. I thought it was Nadeo, but Desessi then going round, and he's stuck in the wall, and he's had to tow all the way back to the pits, and that's at least going to be 4 or 5 minutes of towing. And yeah, my apologies, I genuinely thought that was Nadeo again, but no, it was Desessi, and you can see the car's not gone, it's just gone there, and it was just a little bit too eager on throttle, and he's wedged himself in the wall. And yeah, iRacing picks up. You've just ruined a man's race. Oh dear, you've got to feel bad for him.
Yeah, all that work, but that is who's coming out of the pit lane then?
That's one of the lap TCRs.
It is Dave Gilmore back in the race. P9, but Nadeo still fighting Tellman for position, and Nadeo now gets ahead of Tellman, so Tellman no longer on the podium, and Nadeo on a bit of a comeback drive after his spin early on in the race. In fact, I believe it was the first lap of the race. He had his moments, so Sabula will now be hunted down by Luca Nadeo, who really has had the pace. Like you say, he was 33 thousandths off the back of Pascal Stix in qualifying, but Stix, since Nadeo dropped the rear, it's not looked back, and Nadeo's had to fight hard to come through the field here. Oh, there we go.
Just saw that Nadeo on that last lap was, I mean, he was a second quicker than Stix on that previous lap, which, I mean, that's just absolutely mental. And yeah, just goes to show that Nadeo definitely has the pace today. But again, we've seen this a couple of times where drivers genuinely have the pace to fight for wins, but either aren't very good in qualifying or make a silly little mistake, and it can really cost them. Although Nadeo still has the chance to get second place, he's only got Sabula about a second in front of him. Actually, it's come down to 8/10 now, and Sabula now almost looks absolutely gone. But now that Nadeo is the one chasing after him, it's going to be a very different story. We can take a look at what happened to Nadeo on that first lap, and why we've seen him come back through the field. And yeah, it was just him trying to re-overtake Grossman, who again has had a fantastic race so far, and just a little bit too eager on this first lap, and just had a very, very slow and really, it's just one of those horrible spins to watch back. And yeah, just unfortunate for him on that first lap. And well, he's got himself back up into third, like we mentioned, and is only half a second away from Sabula, so he's really putting the foot down now. And I believe this will be the penultimate lap, I think. Could be wrong. I don't know. It's very difficult to tell.
It is very difficult to tell. And one thing to mention about Nadeo, that's how good a drive he's had. Look, he's catching up to Sabula and pulling away from Tellman already, but them spins that he had in the opening lap of the race, they are the... You'd rather spin around fast and do a couple of pirouettes before trying to point it in the right direction. Because the slower the spin, the more you just feel like, as a driver as well, at times when you have one of them slow spins, you think, I'm going to get hit, I'm going to get hit, I'm going to get hit. I'm on the grass now, I'm okay. So horrible for him, but what a comeback drive in this race. What could have been in this race?
Oh, well, there you go.
I might say, what has happened to Zabula? Because he's not only lost out to Nadeo, he's lost out to Tailman. So this is going to ebb and flow all race, isn't it? Because now Tailman's attacking the back of Nadeo as they come down the hill. He's got that inside line. He's coming through the inside and pulls back in front of Nadeo here. And these three are going to fight for the last lap and a bit as they come into the... is that the second of the corkscrews? No, it's not. I really need to learn the Nordschleife. You can tell I've never raced around here before. I only know it-ish. So I need to really do more work on this track. All I can tell you, though, folks, is this man has been so dominant tonight. He's not needed to use that mirror that's no good because he only needs to look in front of him.
Yeah, he literally can cruise these next few laps, and he'll still be a long, long way ahead. And ahead of Grossman, he's now about 8 seconds ahead. But this is what started this whole thing off. Sabula, you can see that going very defensive and then just drifting his way through there. And possibly should have just, taken the normal racing line. And then Tailman, I mean, what an overtake by the Belgian. That was super, super brave stuff. And what through the narrowest part, I think, of the Nordschleife.
What
round the outside.
Can't overtake on the Nordschleife? Yeah. What do we know in this commentary box, eh?
Yeah, as someone who claims to have, around 4 years of experience on iRacing, turns out I have none because Tailman's just put me in my place, unfortunately. And Sabula's dropped off quite a bit as well. He's, the man who was leading this pack for quite a while has now dropped back 1.3 seconds from Nadeo.
Now,
and
did Sabula, change tyres in the pits? Have his tyres gone? He's got to have changed tyres for me in the pit lane.
Yeah.
But the way he had that slide just looked like there was no grip on the rear. It didn't grip up, and now he's all of a sudden dropped back. We saw how bad it looked to Silver. Looked like he had it when he had no grip. There's Nadeo looking all over the back of Tailman, and now manages to squeeze alongside and thinks, nope, not yet. Now he's not the opportunity. He's going to patiently wait for that. Take on the Nordschleife. Watch the drivers are saying. With 1 lap left to go when Pascal Sitz gets to the line. These boys are putting on one hell of a show at the very end of the race as they get into a heavy braking zone. Nadeo getting closer to the back of the BMW M4 of Tailman there then. Now they're coming up.
Sabula's already caught back up.
This is what I mean, though. This battle here, Aaron, with Tailman in front, who clearly tonight does not have the pace of the two behind him, is because he's in front. He's brought Sabula right back into this battle.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on there. I think if Nadeo was the driver in front, he would have pulled away a long, long way by now.
I believe we have.
And Howe, I think, has something's happened to him as well. But this is something that's happened to Carlo Carli, one of the drivers who haven't seen too much of today. The second carousel, and just completely too much speed into there. Quite an easy mistake to do, and unfortunately just spins around all by himself. And well, that can happen at the Nordschleife. It's just a very silly, simple mistake, and the second carousel can catch you out if it's very bumpy on the exit. If you take a little bit too much speed, if you're a little bit too much, too eager on the throttle, it can send you spinning around. Some people don't see it too much as a corner. If you get to the GT3s, it's a lot easier, but in these lower speed cars, it can catch you out.
Oh, Nadeo getting a little bumpy on the back of Tailman there. He's really got the pace over the BMW driver in front. And he's looking racy. He's looking for that second place, wants to have damage limitations. He's now got Sabula attacking the back of him, but like you say, that second carousel, it's not as banked either, is it, as the first carousel? So people try and attack it a little harder, but it's just so bumpy through the corner as Nadeo gets very close to the rear end once again. And this is going to be fascinating stuff as they come down the back straight momentarily. He's got the run on him outside the second carousel, and they go side by side now into the left-hander. Still keeps it towards front axle to rear axle, but now tucks back in behind. And we saw a 3-into-1 didn't work earlier.
Here we go.
I am not fancying this down the back straight. He's got the job done there. 3 wide once again. They're going to try once more, except instead of it being Desi, they've got Nadeo, and it is Sabula who's gone through the middle and is so far the car that's in front of the pair of them. 3-into-1 will not go, and now look, Sabula's hit that brick wall, and they're all coming side by side. It's like watching cards at the very end. This is, I'm kind of squinting my eyes because this could hurt going into this next corner. Sabula's backed out of it already, and he's only going to make it 2 wide. Coming through the next part of the track. Jeez, they all filter through. And guess what? Nobody overtook anybody there.
No, we were getting so hyped, and it's just like, it doesn't matter.
All that for nothing.
Yeah, pretty much. All that hype, all that side-by-side action, just nothing. It's boring. Such boring drivers, honestly. You can't overtake at the Nordschleife.
You can overtake on the tightest part of the circuit, but when you're on the straight, no.
Yeah, no.
San Martin there got past Gardner as well, just to say.
It is Sabula trying to go around the outside. He's got the inside line for turn 2. Nadeo, I don't think there's going to be too much he can do about Sabula. He's got the inside line for this next corner as well, but Nadeo has got a little bit of a car length in front. He could hang it round the outside if he's got the speed. I think Nadeo will just about be able to hold on to this 3rd place, but Sabula's trying to hang on as much as he can, and Nadeo just cuts his nose off in front of him, and they must be careful not to allow Tailman to pull away as Nadeo goes defensive into the hairpin and manages to hold on to 3rd place for now. And I don't think Sabula will try and re-overtake this. This is going to be white flag, by the way. I was right that the last lap was the penultimate lap. This is going to be the final one of today. It's been a long old race, this, but you know, it's the Nordschleife 75-minute race. What did we expect? And, well, we thought it was going to get a bit boring, and there's Sabula getting way too deep as he nearly runs into the back of Nadeo. Good spot there that he just about managed to avoid the Mercedes, but has lost a big chunk of time, about a second from doing that. And a couple of drivers struggling now as well, just seeing all the timing students. I think Tranquilin just had a bit of an off. But Pascal Stix is one of those drivers who's been just... I think the best way to describe it is boring. He's been too good to be.
Yes. Yeah. It sounds so harsh to say when he leads by 20 and a half seconds, but I completely agree with you. Yeah, dominant, boring, class, meh. You know, he's had a cracking race. So is Grossman now for the GT4 Am. It's like them two got into the lead of this race and just went, yeah, that's me done. Thanks, lap 1, and then you know, I'll take the race win from here. It's been great drives though from Grossman. 2nd on the track, beating some of the pros. He's missing out on the fun just behind him, but what a night for this man. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, he really has. A man that's been a bit topsy-turvy this season. Of course, we mentioned the fact that he nearly won in Zandvoort. Was leading for so long, and then just made one tiny mistake on the final few laps. This time, well, he's got such a big gap that I don't think he'll be pushing too hard, just to be honest. And he can just cruise all the way until the end. And so can Engel. He's got a comfortable gap in front and behind. Kind of a no man's land. A lot of these drivers are in a bit of a no man's land. We've got a couple battles here and there. Of course, we've got that battle for the final places on the podium. And oh, here's another one. That's Freseke trying to overtake her pal. Freseke for defending well in that Porsche as her pal, I think, clattered the wall coming onto the Nordschleife. And this could be one to watch. It's been brewing for a couple laps now, and they've closed in on each other. And this will be for the last podium place in GT4 Am. As Bonacorti comes into the pits.
Yes, yeah, he was an early stopper in this race. He pitted a lap earlier of Graziano. He pitted the same lap as Tranquilin. Is this a lap short of fuel? How quick is this going to be? He's gone up on the jacks. Now,
yeah,
Riviera.
That is utterly strange from Bonacorsi. He's
Riviera.
taking a rather long pit stop, and yeah, you're mentioning Riviera. It could be. I don't think this will be a long. Or could it? Or has he gotten a penalty? Has Bonacorsi gotten a penalty?
We'll find out where Riviera is. He's still in the pits, is Bonacorsi. And
He's
this
definitely
is
got a penalty.
third and fourth between Herpo and Friseke then, as he's now on pit exit. So where is Riviera? He was 3 minutes behind. He's going to have gained 44 seconds because of that pit stop, plus the in and out. So it's going to be interesting to see the time there. But what happened to Bonacorsi? He's threw away his second place. If he's given himself a penalty, then Pascal Sticks still leading the way. There is Bonacorsi out of the pits now. There is Graziano. Just entering the leader of TCR. So the leader of GT4 Pro is probably about halfway through the Nordschleife at the moment, as the leader of TCR has just entered the Nordschleife. So that explains it. We've said in previous weeks, haven't we, Aaron, that TCR's not that much difference between them and the GT4 Pros. Tonight, there's been a huge difference, but you've not had to worry about traffic. That's the bonus about this circuit.
Yeah, I was going to mention that at the start, but then I forgot. Yeah, silly me. Yeah, there wasn't really any threat of traffic here, which definitely has made life a bit more easier for the GT4s and the TCRs alike. And Lars Wheeler, he's done pretty well today and will grab his first win, his first podium, I think, in TCR AM this season. Could be wrong on that, but he's been fantastic, as has De Silva in TCR AM. They've been closer to Graziano than any of the other pros, which is weird to say. And yeah, they've been outstanding, especially in an older car as well. They've been really, really good, and deserve the praise when they get it. And yeah, I believe Bonacorsi did have a penalty. That 40 seconds is around what you would get for a track limit. You know, the amount of X's that you get. It would make sense. He is still comfortably ahead of Riviera, but yeah, just has kind of gifted Tranquil in that second place.
It does indeed. Gavin Gardner there is up into P3 ahead of Sam Martin in TCR AM. And Pascal Sticks driving towards the end of this race. Tellman still as Nadeo, hot on his heels. Sabula is no longer in this fight. Not sure what's happened to him, but he's no longer in this battle anymore. Tellman, who's just not had the pace today, is driving so defensively at the moment. Nadeo waiting for his opportunity, and will his opportunity be on that long back straight and maybe leaving it in the slipstream till the very last moment? No, he's going to attack it now and try now. But Sabula's dropped off this fight, so not sure what's happened to him. But he's not had the last lap he'd have wanted, has he? Because he was in the thick of this battle, and really, barring a mistake from Tellman and Nadeo, yeah, that's going to be P4 for Sabula. So what a shame to end the race this way. But for Pascal Sticks, well, he's approaching the checkered flag and to take one of the more famous wins of the season, Aaron. He's just been so good tonight.
Yeah, he's 100% deserving of this victory. And well, we were talking about traffic, and well, he's going to get the first one of the entire day, and probably the only one of the entire day. And yeah, just to annoy us. And hello, this is the battle going on for P2 in GT4 Pro as we head into the final few corners of the Nordschleife, as Tellman just about hangs on to this second place. But this is where the Slipstream Fest is going to begin, and they're going to be side by side pretty much for the next 30 seconds, as Sabula can only watch on in awe and hope that these two come together, as Nadeo doesn't seem to have the straight line speed of the BMW. We have seen that the BMW is just ridiculous in a straight line. Nadeo admittedly is going to have the bravest of braves of sends into this last couple corners if he wants any chance of overtaking Tellman But before we cut back to that, it's Pascal Stix taking the victory in GT4 Pro. Nadeo just pulling ahead now. They're side by side, inches to inches, mono-y-mono. Tailman super late on the brakes, and that is fantastic stuff from the Belgian. I think that's going to be it. I think Tailman has just about done enough to hold on to that second place. Fantastic stuff from the championship leader to hold on to second place in GT4 Pro. Nadeo had an impressive comeback, but it just wasn't enough to get second place. Sabula with an impressive race in fourth as well, but just about missed out on the podium. We missed Grossman crossing the line in first in GT4 AM as well. Here's Dominic Engel, who comes home in second place. And now we patiently wait for the entire grid to finish the race. Nicholas Herpau is now a minute behind Dominic Engel. And yeah, we're just going to be sitting here twiddling our thumbs now for a long, long while.
We have got a replay, though, of Rampazoo and Dewhurst here. A huge crash, we're being told, in our area. So we're going to take a look on the replay. This is what we're being told by our producer, Joshua. So this is Dewhurst in the TCR car. Oh, he's
already got damage long before that.
Yeah, that is a wounded car. That is there. Right, so Rampazoo, here he is in his GT4. This
He's
looks
going to
like
get too wide.
On the curb.
Yep.
Bang, round he goes. In the huge up there. So actually two separate incidents, so it's going to be interesting to see what happened there to the TCR car over the line. Herpo crosses line P4, Friseke crosses it in P4, sorry, Herpo P3. In the TCR AM category, Eaton then still 27 seconds behind them. This might tell us what happened, though, to Dewhurst in the TCR category.
Did.
Yeah, he's walking wounded. There's something wrong with that car. And
very strange.
You can see the sparks on the bottom. Something is not right on that car. So we're going back to his first off track. That looks a bit quicker. So is this where he's had that moment coming down? Oh, we've seen a lot of drivers make a mistake there.
Oh, no.
It's gone left on him.
Yeah, I don't... he was very far over to the right, admittedly. He was extremely far over to the right. I don't know, had he maybe broke on the grass? He's gotten very understeer, very wide, and he has broken on the grass, yeah. Smack bang into the wall.
Hat off to getting to the end of the race, provided he hasn't gone back to the pit lane, I do believe. Eaton has finished P5, DeBarts in P6. Graziano then is coming to the line. These TCR cars are, a little disadvantage tonight over the Ford. And Graziano is coming towards the line. We are going to bring interviews after Graziano crosses the line due to the fact that there is so many still to finish in this race, and it is going to take a while for them all to get across the line. But Matteo Graziano comes onto the Nürburgring start straight now. It's a flash of the lights for the Hyundai driver, and the championship leader will extend that championship lead as they cross the line now to win in TCR Pro. And I tell you what, Aaron, I'll let you take the first interview of the evening.
I've got so much choice, but I think kind of self-explanatory who I'm going to go for first. I mean, Pascal Stix. Oddly, there's not too much to say, to be honest. You just led the entire race and pulled away. And it's your first win of the season. You must be overjoyed with that kind of performance.
Yeah, it was not as exciting as I expected it to be, but I'm not complaining and try a win.
Yeah, I would not complain with a performance like that. And yeah, it was fairly boring, but I guess that's kind of what we drivers want, isn't it? We just want to win and just have a bit of a calm race, and that's what it was. It's just what it was for you. And talk us through the challenges of a long old race here at the Nordschleife.
Yeah, so the key to being fast here is just practice laps and more practice laps and then more practice laps again. Like, I think I've done thousands, literally multiple 1,000 GT4 laps around here, and yeah, it pays off apparently. So that's the key.
Yeah, definitely. Just keep on punching in the lap times, and eventually you will be quick. And just a quick question as well: are you going to be doing the 24 hours of the Nordschleife this weekend? And is that why you've been practicing so much?
No, I am not actually, because unfortunately I don't have time. And also, I did it the last 5 years, I think, and always got crashed out. And I don't know, I didn't quite feel like it this time. But yeah, now the pace is that good. Maybe.
I think that's probably the most relatable thing I've ever like. I've attempted the 24 hours of the Nürburgring so many times, and it's ended the exact same way every single time. Just one guy just likes to ruin my day. But yeah, very, very impressive performance by you. And we've only got 2 rounds of this championship left. We've got Road Atlanta next week, and then after that, Spa. Do you think you'll be able to put yourself in a position like this there as well?
I mean, I'm certainly gonna try. I'm not sure because I think Lucas is pretty fast. Luca as well, and yeah, but I will try. Let's see. Maybe practice a bit more than the first rounds. Yeah, but I think I can do it if I just find the time for practice.
Well, I mean, clearly today it shows that when you do put the practice in, you win, and you've come away with a very, very dominant victory here today. And congratulations on that first victory for you. Before we let you go, Pascal, anyone you want to give a shout out or mention to?
Yeah, just my teammates. Being on Discord and TeamSpeak with them and talking the whole race makes it a little less boring for me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, driving 75 minutes around here doing basically nothing. Yeah, I don't blame you at all. Nice to have a bit of company. Thank you, Pascal, for coming and talking with us, and congratulations on your first win.
Thanks, guys.
Very happy with his first win now, and I believe we can get Ronald Grossman in, the GT4 AM winner. Hopefully we can have a speak with him and get him into the commentary box to see how he felt on his win in what was a pretty good evening for the German driver. And a good night all round as well. Ronald, P1 in class and P2 overall. That's a pretty good race from yourself tonight.
Yeah, finally came together. No bad luck or mistakes like in the past rounds I had. And I had to admit this, it's kind of my favorite track. So for like, you know, people like only doing like Mazdas or FF1600 in iRacing. For me, it's a track I have a lot of laps here, so it's kind of finally was able to show a little bit for that.
Yeah, show what you had, and mixing it with the pro boys, really making it an interesting night for yourself. Good pace, so this track's a lot about confidence throughout the whole circuit and keeping your concentration levels high. Is that one thing that you did tonight?
Yeah, I was like lucky that I was staying like in the draft of Pascal for the first 2 laps, and the guys behind me were fighting, so I gapped them a little bit, and then I only managed to gap and tried to be as careful as possible with the night, because it's like the first time I race in the night here, and yeah, I had to be really careful.
Really careful. We've got 2 races left in Road Atlanta and Spa. Can you take another race win this season? It's been an up and down season from yourself at the moment.
If I like have the consistency I had today and stop making the stupid mistakes, I think I could be able to maybe get 1 or 2 more of the AM wins in the last 2 rounds. My overall goal is to still get like top 3 in the AM standings overall. And luckily we have a drop round in the series, so last time I missed Aragon, so that also means I can't do any mistakes if I want to be top 3 in the last 2 rounds.
Consistency's got to be the key then, and take the form of tonight into them last 2 races.
Yes, I will try it, and let's see.
Finally, Ronald, anybody you'd like to thank, give a shout out to?
Probably Pascal for drafting me along in the first 2 laps, and yeah.
Well, congratulations on the winning category tonight, and well done for P2 overall. Really good performance.
Thanks.
And I believe we have time for possibly one more. Josh, is that correct? Yep, sure. Let's get Lars in, who won the TCR category. We'll speak with a TCR driver as well. Lars, congratulations on the TCR AM win. That was a good fight with De Silva throughout majority of that race. Lars, can you hear us? Just can't hear him at the moment. We are trying to get him through to us. If not, we're going to speak with Lucas Tailman instead. Lars, can you hear us? No, we can't hear him. So we will not be able to hear from Lars Wheeler then. We will, though, hear from Lucas Tailman. Then Lucas, not the overall pace tonight, but still managed to walk away with P2.
Yeah, that's some good point for the championship. We were definitely not the fastest car on track, but yeah, still a P3 is good for the championship.
It was a fantastic race all night for you because you was in the thick of a good battle. Wherever we looked, it was yourself and a few other cars around you. You had a few scary moments, though, down the back straight, 3 wide, a couple of times. Just tell us how you was feeling in the car at that time.
Yeah, the other drivers saw that I didn't have the pace today. So yeah, they wanted to pass me multiple time. Yeah, that was a bit scary at some moment, but we finished with the P3, so we were just the best out of the 4.
Yeah, indeed. Carter Lundy not here tonight. There is obviously the drop score round, but the points is what you needed.
Yeah, they definitely. Like if I finished like at the P5, and that was not enough point for win the championship. Carter is very fast. I was lucky that he didn't be here tonight because the Porsche was very faster. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
Lucky's valid words. We go to Road Atlanta and Spa, though. Can you take some confidence going into them 2 circuits?
Yeah. Next week we go to Road Atlanta. Road Atlanta. We'll try to do a better setup, and because here I took like 5 seconds by the fastest lap. Yeah, we'll try to do a better setup next time.
And finally, anybody you'd like to thank?
Thanks to my team. They helped me a lot in the battle with Luca, Nadeo, and the other guys. Big thanks to them. Thanks to my parent, girlfriend, like everyone who is involved in this adventure. And yeah, thanks to the sponsor, Major Garage and PC Design, to be with me.
Well, Lucas, fantastic night tonight. Well done, and we'll see you next time out.
Yeah, see you next time, guys, and thank you to the viewer. You're the best.
Thank you very much there from Lucas, then, who will take a good championship lead. Going into Road Atlanta in a week's time. 2 races left in the championship. Aaron, thanks for being in the commentary box once again. A pleasure, as always.
Yeah, it's been fun. Definitely not been the most of entertaining races, but we kind of expected that going into today, and only 2 rounds left. I think Road Atlanta is going to be full send, and Spa is going to be Spa. It's going to be slipstream, then a bit of a break, then more slipstreaming. It's just what Spa does, and we're going to have 2 really, really good rounds to end the season, and well, let's see how the championships turn out.
Yeah, let's see how the championships turn out indeed. But thanks all for watching the Apex Racing TV this evening. We'll be back, like we said, next week, 60 minutes of Road Atlanta for the penultimate round of the season. We cannot wait. But from myself, Aaron, and our broadcaster Joshua, good night.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use